Hi guys, how are you? Today on this video and the following videos, we're going to be checking out problem solving and how we can use the bar models to solve problems. On this video, we're going to see the whole part bar models for addition and subtraction. And please check the next videos to learn how to do it with multiplication, division, and the comparing bar models. That being said, let's begin. But before we start with the subject, what is a problem? You open your book, your math book, and you find a bunch of problems. But what is a problem? A problem is a situation that you find and you don't immediately know how to approach. Okay, so you find this situation and sometimes you have to stop and think and double check and find a strategy and a path to solve that situation. Good news is some problems, they follow a pattern. What we're gonna do on these videos is try to find that pattern, and that will help us to solve math problems easily. As I said, we're gonna do whole part today. Every number, you can remember the number bonds. If you remember the number bonds, this is the diagram for number bonds. And you remember that you have a whole or a total, and that is divided in parts. It can be divided in two, at least two parts. Sometimes it's three, sometimes it's four. And we're gonna see that on the next video, a note in this one. But you have to have at least two parts. And the parts must be smaller than the whole. They can be equal or not. So we're going to take, for example, number 8. There are several ways to make number 8. You can say 5 and 3 make 8. 7 and 1 make 8. 4 and 4 make 8. Right? And you'll see that 4 and 4, they're equal. They're the same. But then 5 and 3, they're different. So a whole can be formed by or composed by parts, and those parts can be equal or not. That's important. Why it is important to remember your number bonds in this situation? Because when you're going to solve problems, you need to identify if the problem is telling you the whole or the parts. And if you have to find the whole or the total or one of the parts. If we're going to be using the bar models, a bar model is a rectangle. You draw a rectangle, and on that rectangle, you're going to be writing down the numbers that your problem gives you. Okay? The whole, you're always going to write the whole underneath or on top of your bar. Okay? You're never going to write the whole inside of your bar. It's going to be underneath or on top of your bar. And you're going to do this thingy here. And it represents that the number that you wrote represents the whole or the total. And then you can write the amount that represents each part. We're going to see an example. This is not a problem. This is a statement. If you can check, there's no question in here. This is a statement. There are 37 popsicles in the fridge. Okay, 37. How many popsicles are there? 37. Are there more than 37? No. There are exactly 37 popsicles in the fridge. But they're not all the same. we have cherry and pineapple. Okay, and there are 25 cherry flavored and 12 pineapple flavored. So this 37 is divided in two parts because I have two flavors. And each part has a number. If I want to represent that information, this information, I want to represent it in a bar model, I'm going to draw by bar. It is a bar. It's divided in two parts. Why? Because I have two parts, two flavors. And I know that my total or my whole is divided in two parts. This is telling me there are 37 popsicles. So 37 is the total amount or the whole. Again, you see this thingy? It represents the whole because it covers the whole bar, all of it. And then we have this part, the pinkish part is bigger than the purplish part. Why? Because I have two numbers and one is greater than the other one. So my parts, they kind of represent on my bar, you kind of represent the size of the part. If I have 25 and 12, then my bigger part represents the greatest number. Now write down here 25 and 12. What does this mean? That 25 and 12 make 37. Remember your number bunts? It's pretty much the same. 25 and 12 make 37. How do we use that on a problem? Let's practice. I have problem number 1 here. Mark about 18 blue marbles and 10 red marbles. How many marbles did he buy altogether? Do we have a total here? Or do we have parts? The problem is asking how many did he buy altogether. If they're asking me for something altogether, it means that they're asking me for the total or the whole, right? So we don't have a whole, we don't have a total, we have to find it. But they're giving me some numbers here. What are these numbers? If they're asking me for the whole, then this must be the parts. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw my model. I have my bar is divided in two parts because they're telling me there are 18 in blue and 10 in red. So I have two colors, so I have two parts. And I don't know the total. That's why I have a question mark here because I don't know. That's what I have to find, right? And then what do I have to put inside of my bar? Yes, I'm gonna put the numbers that represent each part. 18 is the biggest part, and then 10. What do I have to do to find the total? I have the parts. If I go back to my number bonds and I say 18 and 10 make, I don't know how many. 18 and 10, that means that I have to put them together. So I have to add. Because when I add, I put two amounts or two numbers together. I'm gonna add 18 plus 10 equals 28. That means that Marco bought 28 marbles altogether. And 28 is my total. But we are not gonna put it on our bar model because we already finished, okay? My bar model is only to help me find what operation I have to solve to find the answer for the question, okay? So remember, we read the problem. We determined that we were looking for the total and we had the parts. So we draw the bar model. We put the information in that bar model, the information that the problem gave us. We solved the operation, in this case, an addition, and then we wrote the answer in a complete sentence. It is important for you to follow those steps to solve your problems. Let's have another one. Problem number 2. It is about a park. It's telling me that there are 98 trees in a park. 98 trees in a park. How many trees do I have? 98. 45 of them are mango trees and the rest are cedar trees. How many cedar trees are there at the park? What do we have here? Do we have a total or do we have parts? They're telling me that we have 98 trees. Is that a total? Yes, it is. We don't have any more than 98. We don't have any less than 98. That is what we have. And then what would 45 be? 45 will be a part of this 98. Then what are we looking for if we already have a whole and a part? Remember that a whole is always composed by at least 2 parts. We're going to draw our bar. And I say, okay, I have my bar. I have my total. It's telling me it's 98. And 45 is a part. What am I missing? I'm missing the other part. So I'm going to put my question mark here because I don't know how many cedar trees are there. I know how many mango trees, but they're asking me how many cedar trees. I know altogether between the mangoes and the cedars, there are 98 trees. And 45 of them are mangoes. And I have to find this other part. I have to find the difference. And to find a difference, what do I need to do? I need to subtract. So I go ahead and I do solve my subtraction. 98 minus 45 equals 53. Okay, so that is the difference. That is my answer because they're asking me if I have this total and this is a part of the total, what is the other part? Then I have to subtract the total and a part, and I will find the other part. And I write down my answer in complete sentence. There are 53 cedar trees at the park. Remember, once again, you're going to read your problem. You're going to determine if you have a whole or a part. You're going to determine what they're asking you to do, and you're going to draw your model, solve your operation, and write the answer in a complete sentence. Okay? So as I said, it's a little review. Whenever you find a math problem, check if it is telling you the whole or the part. Just draw a rectangle for your bar model and divide the rectangle. The amount of parts you need is usually 2 parts, at least 2 parts. Write down the numbers the problem gave you and double check if they are in the correct space of your bar model. Just check out if you're not writing the whole in one of the parts or the parts in the whole, you know what I mean? Solve the math operation, addition, subtraction, whatever it is. Write your answer in a complete sentence and check if the answer is logical. Okay, you just double check everything, you'll be fine. Okay, kids, I hope this was helpful. See you later, alligator.